Hello there, so welcome back. It's Monday. We've just done Wales, so I thought I'd do a bit of a kind of overview of the weekend. It was definitely a weekend of two hearts. So I think I better start by saying I love Wales, even though I've been going to it now twice a year for nearly five. I think our fifth anniversary of going will be the winter one this year. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? So, as you may know, if you've been to Arts Comic Con, it's held in, I'm not going to say this right, but I'm going to try, in Gwalindia University in Wrexham. And it has been steadily growing. I mean, the guests, the first one we went to were people like James Masters and Amber Benson, but kind of nice mid-range guests. But in the last couple of years, they've been somehow able to pull in some larger guests, which I think we may get to in a moment, but we'll start there. So on the Saturday, our day wasn't going to be technical. I mean, I had about 5 sheets, but it wasn't going to be too busy. We're going to go through them in order in a second, but about, because we were on to I think about 8:45, because general entry going at 11, early birds at 10, and then the VIPs at 9:30. So we knew something was wrong when it was 10 past 10 and we couldn't see a queue going in, because apparently the VIP queue was so big it took 40 minutes to get them all in, which is fairly weird. Which is okay, that seems fair. So then the early birds are going in, so technically speaking they've already lost 20 minutes. So I think then, in another aspect, when they let us in, I think they let us in about 20 past 11. We were about a third of the way down the queue, but if you looked behind you, you could see the queue was going out and down the side of the building. And apparently, one guy I talked to was actually at the end back of the queue when he was at the car park where me and my wife had parked 3 hours before. So that was how far around it had gone. So we go in. Our first shoot on the Saturday, I think it was Amber Benson, so it was like about 11:45. So we knew we were going to make it. So basically, off we go. We potter our way over to the shoot area. It's not a massive queue. I mean, Amber Benson is popular, but she's not like your Alyson Hannigan's, again, which you'll get to on Sunday. And that was the fairly lovely experience. I mean, if you've never met Amber Benson, she is an absolute sweetheart. I only needed her to sign my Buffy poster, which I think I'll put the full picture of later on near the end, because I've got a few signatures on there now. But got a photo, which you'll most probably be seeing now. Again, lovely woman. She was wearing wellies because it was Wales in December, so obviously prepared. So we went out. And because it was early, I was able to go out, pick up both our photo shoots, no problem. That changed. So, as the day went along, so after Amber Benson, I think my next shoot was Carl Urban. So Carl Urban was like 20-1. Now, at this point, now I've got no quantification of this, I can only go off what I read on Facebook and saw pictures of, was at that point, the general entry queue was still coming in, and nearly 2 hours after the doors had opened, and there were a lot of very unhappy people because it was Wales in December and it was raining. So obviously I don't know what was going on, but so I got to the Carl Urban shoot, and the queue, because he's quite a popular guy, it wasn't massive, but it was sizable, let's say. So we go in, we do our shoot, it's fine. But I hadn't actually looked to the side. Normally when you kind of just scope out the photo area where the things were collecting, because I don't think I've explained this, but usually there's a big desk and there's a group of people normally waiting to collect the photos. It's not usually that big, but this year they added a third studio because they'd got so many guests and they needed a third studio to fit everyone in. This possibly could have been a part of the problem that started to happen around this time, because when I looked to the side, the place was pretty full. It was about 6 or 7 people deep. So generally in my mind, I look at it and go, yeah, I'll come back and get it later. It's not a problem. So I went in, got my photo shoot. Ding, here it is. Again, he's bloody tall, really nice guy, fist bumping all the way. So it's okay, fine, cool. So after that, at 30 minutes later, I had Michael Biehn from the film Aliens, Terminator. He's done a lot of stuff. And this is when I began to notice something change. Now, the old system used to be, there's 2 shoots, there's 2 entrance doors. So QA there, QB there. Job done. But because the C studio was in a door by where A was, they couldn't queue everyone against the wall. So they were queuing people for the A in the middle of the road, and C was kind of up against the wall. And because of the way the photo shoots, because they started to seriously overrun at this point, because of the way that happened, it was kind of, there were people being queued against a fence, there were people in the middle of the road, the fence was split down the middle, and the lady who's out there, I think her name's Jane or the Dreadlock, she was trying her best, you know. I mean, there was like a couple of crew members who were trying to organise everyone, and because some people, they weren't really made aware of the time going on, people were joining the back of a queue thinking it was for the next person, not the one that was actually about to happen. So it was like, okay, this is getting a bit interesting. So we queued up for Michael Biehn. Now, I'm going to be honest, there wasn't a lot of us. There was only about 30 or 40 people, I think, for Michael Biehn. But the good thing about that queue was we were kind of down the side, and David Bradley had just been in there because they'd moved his shoot, or he was either just before. So, but he came out and walked down the queue and shook everyone's hand, and we weren't asking for it. He was just going, hi, you know, hi, hi. So it was kind of like, buy a Michael Biehn photo shoot, get a handshake off, you know, the first Doctor, and apparently he's in Game of Thrones. Haven't watched it, can't say who it is. So we go in, do Michael Biehn, bing, there's the photo. Lovely guy again. Didn't get the time to get his autograph for reasons we'll come to in a minute. So I was like, okay, fine, that's so far so good. So our last shoot of the day was Jenna Coleman. 3:20, I think. So it was about that. That was something that was supposed to happen. It happened about 25 minutes later. Now, you haven't heard me say there, I didn't try to get those 2 photo shoots because, again, the crowd was now 6 to 7 deep still. Didn't look like anything had moved. So it was like, okay, it wasn't looking good, you know, because, I mean, traditionally on the Saturday of Wales, for those of us who've gone a lot, things like that can happen. You know, sometimes people don't know what they're doing, or I just don't, because I mean, the old days it used to be gig photo shoot, come back in 2 hours, and that caused some trouble, but it wasn't causing as much trouble as this system seemed to be doing. So we got to Jenna Coleman. Now, the dreadlock lady, lovely girl, pulled us all to queue against the fence, which we did. We all kind of lined up, and Jenna Coleman's quite popular. And so we were all queuing up against the fence, and then about 20 minutes later, this other queue had appeared, which we were then told by this 3rd crew member, that's the Jenna Coleman queue, what are you guys doing here? And we're like, so we'd been standing there queuing, so we had to join the back of these people, and that did cause, I will use the polite word of some grumpiness amongst a lot of the people who were in that queue. So it was like, right, okay. So we did the Jenna Coleman shoot, which again, you can see a photo of now. And this is where stuff changed. And I'm going to try and be as not hatery and not and as polite as I physically can. But the end result was it took me 2 hours to pick up 4 photo shoots, which is a bit ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what happened, but just around that point, the system they had in line just seemed to collapse. I mean, I managed to get my wife's Jenna Coleman shoot fairly easily. So the problem was, because everyone's so far back, these poor 4 people who I will admit now I did feel desperately sorry for, because there was a lot of kind of big photo shoots going on at this time. There was like quite a few of the Sons of Anarchy guys whose queues were demented all weekend anyway. They were very popular guys, and the fact that they got them was a fairly big thing. You know, the Charlie Hunnam, you know, Ryan. I don't watch the show, but I know it's quite popular. So these people, there was 3 studios all taking shoots at the same time. So these 4 people were having to hand out 3 shoots simultaneously to this ever expanding crowd of people. And honestly speaking, about 40-50 minutes in, the atmosphere in that room changed. I mean, it didn't change in a good way. You could feel just people beginning to lose their patience, and people at the front were just seeing piles of photos, picking them up, you know, not even asking the staff, and just picking them up, and you know, and it turned ugly. Oh, I'm not going to say like violent ugly, but you could tell it was going wrong. So I'd managed to pick up 3 shoots. So they told me, like, obviously, just for some happenstance, I don't think you're going to call no one printed out. Go into this little side room, they'll reprint it, no trouble. Right, okay, fine. Go into that room. The queue was a bit peculiar because people were blocking it off because the room was full. I think there was literally nowhere to go. You know, once I'd got out the queue, I could breathe a bit, but going into this room was a bit difficult, we'll say. So we got in, and then I heard a megaphone announcement. And obviously I'm nowhere near it, but basically apparently what had happened was the fire marshal had seen that area and effectively just gone, get everyone the fuck out, close it, you know, get everyone out, this is dangerous. So the room was cleared, VIPs stayed in for a bit, got their shoots, and then they were letting people in dribs and drabs. I managed to get my last year in a Coleman shoot, and we got out, and this was 2 hours, it's like 5:30, I think. So me, obviously just being curious, 2 things basically happened. Charlie Hunnam, Sons of Anarchy, if I'm correct, he basically was staying, right, because all of you guys have been delayed, because some people like to get their photo shoots, he stayed till something like 7-8 o'clock carrying on signing for people, which was lovely of him. You know, I'm not going to say that was a fairly nice thing of him to do. And I checked, and I kept an eye on the Welsh Comic Con groups, and people were still queuing up till I think beyond 7 o'clock to try to get the shoots. And anyone after that was just told, right, come back tomorrow. If you've got a Saturday ticket, you say you come. Photos will let you into the photo area. You can pick them up. You know, fine. So Saturday had ended. Now, me and the wife were kind of talking on the way home, and we were worried, not because of, you know, just generally because tomorrow's guest was like, well, the big guest for tomorrow was Alyson Hannigan, and we had basically focused our day on Care and the Buffy group. So we were a bit like, oh shit, you know, is this going to happen? So we made a decision. We were like, right, okay, to prevent ourselves from taking a risk and possibly missing Alyson Hannigan, because my wife, as you can see behind me, quite likes Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So she wanted to meet Alyson because she was at a Benedict Cumberbatch photo shoot when I got my autographs at LFCC 2 years ago. So we were like, right, okay, we are getting the fuck up early, and we are going to get to the front of that general entry queue as fast as we can, because otherwise, if we get a ticket over a couple of hundred, it's most probably not going to happen. So that's what we did. 6 o'clock, we were in that queue by about 7:15. We were about 8th or 9th from the front. Felt really good. So we're like, fine. And one of the things I was hoping was, a couple of years that has happened where the Saturday has been wrong, we'll say. The Sunday has normally ran better. So we were like, okay, come on, people, you know, let's hope this works. Now, the queues were a lot better. The early birds went on time, and I think as a reasonable apology for the day before, we got let in, I think it was 20 to 11, right? Now, I am going to be honest here, my wife doesn't do running at cons. She only runs when she absolutely has to. So we got in, done our wristbands, and she was off. Because Alyson Hannigan was in this tent, and while we were in the queue, it had been announced that she wasn't actually going to start signing till 1 o'clock. Now, apparently the reason for that had been she was supposed to be flying to an airport closer, like Liverpool, or I think it was Liverpool, or somewhere around that area, Liverpool, Manchester Airport, and driving her way down. Because obviously, where we live, it's only half an hour away. But unfortunately, for some reason, her plane was diverted to Heathrow, which, if anyone's ever driven to London, is a good 5 or 6 hours difference. So I think because of that, she may have needed some sleep, and she said, I'll come at 1, but she said she'd stay later. We're fine. So my wife gets a decent ticket, it's 110. So we're like, right, that's cool. That's going to happen. You know, we're fairly fine. And then we were faced with the dilemma, because traditionally when we go to Wales, we go to the Buffy talk. Because if there's Buffy cast, there's a Buffy talk, and it's usually fairly entertaining. So we had to look at each other, and we basically made the decision, because we really need, because Alyson was only there for a very small amount of time, we took off the Buffy talk and we queued to get her autograph. So there was no shoot. My wife did a couple of she's recently got into Once Upon a Time. So I bought her a print, and she was going to get Jennifer Morrison, but she cancelled. Shut up, Sheldon. So she got a couple of autographs, typical cat, from Emma Cofield, because she's apparently Once Upon a Time. I haven't watched it myself, I can't really say. And Rebecca Mader and Amy Manson. Now, ironically enough, my wife had already got an autograph from Amy Manson at our first Wales, actually. And my wife had been honest with her when she'd met and gone, hi, by the way, love the show, haven't got to you yet. So when we met her again, my wife had gone, hi, just to let you know, by the way, I'm actually just about to get to you. It's been about 3 years since this woman last came. But she was absolutely, again, Amy, if you ever want to meet Amy Manson, she's a fairly lovely woman. I mean, she talked to my wife for about 10 minutes, which she was really happy about. So we did all of them, and it was like, right, okay, it's 1 o'clock, let's go see the scale of Alyson Hannigan. So we put her up, we talked to the crew member, and he's like, okay, right, we're doing 1 to 25. Now, I have this thing in my head where I knew Alyson wasn't like the fastest of silence, but as compared to some people, she's fairly quick. So we were like, right, cool, let's see what goes. So he said, come back at 2. Okay, fine. So the problem was, originally there was the Buffy group shoot and Alyson Hannigan's photo shoot. They were the last 2 of the day in photo A, and the group shoot was 5:30, and Alyson Hannigan was 10 to 4. So we were like, yeah, cool. So if we go 2 o'clock, we've got about a good hour and 20 minutes. We've got a fairly decent chance. So we walk back up after an hour, arrived at 2 o'clock, and we talked to the guy again, and he's like, hi, right, okay, what are the numbers? And I was honestly expecting it to be in the 80s, 90s, you know. And he went, yeah, we're still on 1 to 25. And it was like, what? It's been a fucking hour. How can it only not have moved? And he said, basically, every single person who seemed to have bought a VIP ticket for Sunday wanted an autograph. So that just slowed shit down. But he said, we're going to try our best. What we're doing. And he pointed to a biggish queue outside. And he said, what you just do is you join there. We're going to call out tickets. And you know, hopefully we can get to see it, because at that point they were handing out tickets up to 380, and you know, we and the wife always kind of said it's like LFCC, if it's over 300, you know, and you know, that's if they're there the whole day and they don't have a lot to do. So we're like, okay, fine, we'll give it a go, you know. So we went, stood outside, and they were kind of calling up in numbers of 10s, and they were doing it about every 10 minutes. So I was kind of in my head doing the maths, and I was going, okay, this is going to be close, but it may happen. So fine, cool, okay. So we stood there, and it was getting to about 3 o'clock, and it was getting a bit squeaky bum time, we'll say. So fine, we get called in, and the queue wasn't that big, because the way they were doing it, they were just letting 10 at a time in. So the queue wasn't that long, and if I don't know if you've met Alyson, but she's beyond adorable. You'll see, you know, she's just genuinely seems to be genuinely a lovely person. So Now, my wife loves Buffy and wanted, ever since she's got into it, as one, she never really forgave me for meeting her in LSEC without her. But she had like a couple of things to get signed. She had like, printed all of them, and a Funko and that figure there. There's a bing, 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 that figure there. So we got to her, and she, even though this woman, like, God knows what she'd gone through in the previous 48 hours, was just lovely. She completely engaged with my wife, took the arse off her. I kind of pointed out to, you know, I was a fairly newish Buffy fan, and half of my room is now Buffy stuff, you know, she kind of laughed at. And as we were walking away, Alyson Hannigan calls my wife back and talked to her for another 4 or 5 minutes. And one of the things I've always said to say about, you know, the woman I married and I love, is I love her reaction after she's met someone she's really want to meet. I'm going to have to go kill the cat in a minute. So she was just, you know, sky high. So we did that. Well, right, okay, we'll go queue for the Buffy group shoot, which comes to the second bone of contention for the day, but we'll get to that thing. So we queued, we got in. Now, on the Sunday, they'd done this thing where you could not mass yourself over. They kind of blocked it off, and you had to queue from the outside the building, and they would let you in blocks, get your photos, get out. It seemed to be working better, but on some more popular shoots it was leading to fairly big queues, and it was raining a lot of the day, but it seemed to be working better. So right, okay, so we do a Buffy group shoot. My wife is cosplaying as Willow. I don't know whether she'll let me put a photo of it up, but shut up, Sheldon. Buffy cat. So we get in. I wait about 15 minutes to get the shoot done. Get in, get the photo, pick it up, and my wife's eyes are closed in the shoot. Now, I was like, oh shit. Had to call the wife, tried to get to a crew member as fast as I could, but by the time we'd gone out, got the photo, found it out, the shoot had ended, so there was nothing that they could do. And I will admit, I was fairly gutted for her. I was just like, oh, you know, because this photo shoot had cost off like 180 quid. It was a lot of money. So what I've kind of had to do is I've had to, there's a guy who offered on the Wales Comic Con group, and he's like, right, okay, get me some photos of your wife's face with her eyes open with the same kind of makeup on, and I'll see what I can do. So that's kind of pulled it out the fire a bit, but I think my main contentions really were the photographer said the picture was fine. You know, she said it was okay, and at Showmasters the thing comes out 30 seconds later and you're still in the studio. So if you see there's something wrong, they send you back. Wales couldn't do that. So there was a couple, actually, when I posted on the Wales group about it, there was a couple of people who were in that studio. It's like a girl's daughter's Alyson Hannigan picture, her eyes were closed and there was nothing they could do. So that's something they may need to look at instant printing in the studios. I think it's the only solution now, because with the issues that were caused on Saturday and some of the stuff with these, like with the photographers, I mean, you know, you don't really know what to say, but with the screen being so tiny on the cameras, and a couple of event photographers who actually piped into that thread I was on the Welsh Comic Con group were like, oh, I was zooming and check, I wouldn't do that to someone because, you know, I know these things are important. So it's like, okay, so well, hopefully I can get that sorted. So last photo shoot of the day, Alyson Hannigan. So we walk out after the slight disappointment of the group shoot for my wife. I look like awful, but I always look awful in pictures anyway. And then we saw the queue for Alyson Hannigan's photo shoot, and it was massive. I mean, almost stupidly massive. I mean, up until that day, I think the longest I had seen a photo shoot queue go for someone was to about the exit door of the main building where one of the signing halls are. This one went round that. This one actually went round to the main entrance door of the building itself. It went, and we were like, okay. because that's really strange, because she'd only really been announced about a week or two before, so obviously they'd sold a shit ton of tickets. So we were like, okay, and we joined near the back, so I mean, like, okay, you know, we've done LSCC, this is not. But the thing is with LSCC, if you're waiting in a queue, you're inside. Here we were out and exposed to the elements. Now, it took about an hour to get us into the studio, and they were gunning them. I mean, because they realised they had to. But the thing I will give Alyson Hannigan for was she was hugging everyone, anyone who came into that shoot. She didn't even ask permission. She just hugged the shit out of you, and was really happy. I mean, I don't know if I was her level of successful, if I could be that bouncy that day long, but that's just maybe who she is. But when she got to my wife, I mean that experience for her of being cuddle bells and actually lifted her spirits a bit from the previous debacle, we'll say. I had a lovely time with it. I actually prefer the shoot I had at Wales to the one I had at LSCC, so I've now swapped that. I'm going to put it up here. And I think what I may do is I'm not going to put the group shoot up until it's been photoshopped, so you might see that in a different video, because whoever it is, that guy's getting a thanks in one of these, because he frankly fucking deserves it. So, the overview. I'm going to say B-. This year, I think the problems of getting the guests the scale of people like the Sons of Anarchy guys and Alyson Hannigan and people like that are starting to expose things about where they currently are that they're going to have to look at for April, because in April they've got John Barrowman, Ron Perlman, Sean Astin and Jennifer Morrison who've all said they're coming back in April, and they need, honestly, to prevent that Saturday happening again. I really need it, because you know, I think the thing with cons is you need to have a certain amount of goodwill between us and them, and there were a lot of people accusing the ticket sales and the amount of VIPs that were sold, and there was a definite turn in the attitude of some people out there that were basically accusing people of the con of money grabbing, and I don't want to say that. I mean, with someone like your showmasters or your MCMs, you know that going in. You know effectively they aren't doing it for your entertainment as well as your joy of meeting these people. But obviously there is a financial gain in the rear of it. But yeah, I think Wales is definitely going to have a look at what to do for April, because that's 4 very big guests, to be honest with you, and they're going to have. I mean, they put Alyson Hannigan in the marquee, and the way they operated here was really good. But the inside the main hall again, with Palm Clement, her queue was fairly huge all day, and a couple of the wrestlers, like Mick Foley, and because they were up against the wall and there was merch stalls, it was like a complete bottleneck. So they're gonna need, I think, another marquee somewhere, another place for guests to sign, or move the merch out that hall completely and stick it into another separate tent. I mean, see, it's something they can look at. But yeah, we are going to go in April. I mean, my wife wants to meet Jennifer Morrison, and you know, I've been trying to get Ron Perlman's autograph now for 5 fucking years, but he keeps fucking cancelling. But hopefully it should go well. But I just think that Jamie and the team and, you know, all the other guys who helped run it need to have a look at what went wrong on Saturday and put stuff in to prevent, because that level of crowd and that level of anger in that room was not good at all, and it was not a fun. It wasn't a fun experience. I mean, I got the sheets and I got out, and I consider myself very lucky that I did, because we could have been there till 7. You know, after about 20 minutes, I actually sent my wife back to the car, and I was like, "Go, just go. I'll stay here and deal with this. Just go." You know. So hopefully that's, you know, I don't know. hopefully next year will be better. I mean, the Sunday was good. I mean, aside of the key for Alyson Hannigan and the eyes closed thing, it went well. I mean, we do, you know. It was just unfortunate that had to happen at the group shoot because my wife had been looking forward to that for 2 days. It's sad, but it happens, you know. But so thank you for watching. I want to thank the guy, even though I'm not going to say his name until I get the photo back, for offering to Photoshop the shoot for her. I mean, he hasn't said he wants money. He's just like, yeah, I'll do that. Don't worry. Just send me the stuff. I'll get it done. And actually, yeah, I'm just gonna. I mean, I will thank the people who run Wales, because the volunteers and the people in the photo booth had it tough that Saturday. I mean, definitely, if they are gonna do a third studio, it's gonna need to be somewhere else. It can't be where it was. It cannot be where it is right now, because that definitely caused a lot of the problems, I think. But hopefully April will be better, so I'll be doing one of these in April. Also, as you know from a week, actually I was going to vlog the event this time, didn't get around to doing it because of circumstances, but I am going to be vlogging Miku Expo. Not going to be a long one. I mean, it's actually one day. I'll be running to London, watching a concert and running back, so I am going to try and get as much footage as I can. I'm going to try and go to the Let's Paint. I'm going to try and film as much as I can on the inside, and hopefully that will be a fun weekend for me, because, you know, best of a Vocaloid concert, it's in the UK. So thank you all very much for watching. I might post this on the Wales Comic Con group as well, just so they know, you know. And thanks very much for watching, and have an absolutely wonderful day. And as with all YouTube bullshit, like, subscribe, comment, call me a fat prick, like anything you like. Thank you very much. Bye bye.